Now everybody will be listening. When Revive Tupelo was here in last October, I don't know if you guys were aware of what was going on with all that. Teams were going out on Saturdays from different churches and just kind of doing street ministry. That isn't like something that comes real easy to me. I think it comes real easy to a whole lot of people, actually. But anyway, I did that for several Saturdays, and it wasn't until what happened is like these teams go out and they minister to people on the street, and they have these conversations with people, and they either give their life over to Christ in that moment, or if that doesn't happen, they might get mad and walk off or whatever. There's all kinds of things that can happen, but one of the things is that they ask them, do you want somebody to come alongside you and disciple you? And that's always been something that I've had a desire to do, because it was kind of a void back in my early years. So I went to one of the church services, and so they asked, hey, we've got a whole lot of people who need to be discipled, so go to the back of the church, and they'll give you a name. So they give you the sheet of paper, and they give you a name of someone who wants to be discipled. So I get the sheet of paper, and the person who made the initial contact is somebody I know, is a friend of mine, and so I called her up and I said, hey, tell me about this girl. And she starts telling me about her, and I'm like, no. Jeff, you can ask Jeff. So for like a week and a half or 2 weeks, I know he got tired of hearing me. I was like, I do not want to have anything to do with this girl. She is a mess. She's playing games. She doesn't really want help. She left. She was at the transformation home for women. She left. Why'd she leave if she really was ready to walk with the Lord and all these things? And so I was talking about it all the time. And, I didn't really realize at the time that I was arguing with God. So we went to church one Sunday, and it's like, I know you guys probably all know, and it seems like the sermon was written specifically for you.
Oh, yeah.
One of those Sundays. Matter of fact, I have a little piece of paper in my purse that's still in there that I showed to Jeff. And I said, I have no toes left. They have been completely smashed off. And so I was like, okay. So I called her up, and she didn't want to have anything to do with me either. It was obvious. She was like, now why do you want to do this? And why do you want to do this? And she didn't want to have anything to do with me. Neither one of us did. It was like, how you put magnets backwards and just like this kind of thing going on. It was one of those. So anyway, I started going to pick her up, and it was always something really weird that happened. And but I was like, okay, God, I know that this is an assignment that you've given me, and so I'm going to do it. So we met, quite a few times, and in the end, everything that I suspected would happen with her happened. All the game plan was there. Everything and more happened. So she ended up, after 2 or 3 months of working with her, just kind of going her own way and getting into some things that she really shouldn't have been getting into, obviously. So I was just like, okay, God, if she comes back, I'll be here. I'll be here waiting for her. And I would write her periodically and say, hey, Sam, I just want you to know I'm here for you. I'm thinking about you, praying for you. And she wouldn't write back. So she just completely disappeared, totally off the grid. And about 3-4 months later, I get a message from her that says, hey, I've been in jail for the last 2 months, and I really want to get reconnected with you. And she said there was a girl who came to jail who really ministered to me and gave me some insights about some things. So she told me her name and some more information about her. So I'm like, okay, well, let me look this person up. So I look her up, find her on Facebook, and write her and say, hey, we have a mutual friend and so-and-so, and just wanted to be connected. So she writes back and she goes, oh, hey, hello. And that was the end of it. The very next day, I get here to AFA, and doing our devotion was Kelly Williams. You remember her, little cute little blonde girl? She was the girl who ministered to her when she was in jail. The very next day, it was just wild. So she and I have connected, and so we've actually both now been ministering to Sam, and it's been a real lesson to me in a number of ways. One is like obedience. like I wanted to do what I know God has called us to do. He's called us to disciple others, but I wanted to do it my way. I wanted somebody easy to disciple. I didn't want to get into somebody's mess. And like specifically in my life, something happened a few years ago that was really hurtful, really painful. And so I put all these walls up around myself. And like I just wanted to stay in my own little world, my own little family. And God was saying specifically, okay, Ann, it's time for you to get out. It's time for you to get out of those walls and start getting into other people's messes. Because there's messes everywhere around us. And I was just thinking this morning on my way to work, the account when Jesus healed the blind man. And he made out of the mud and his spit, he made the stuff he put on his eyes. And so he opened his eyes and he said, well, I can see, but it looks like trees walking around. And he said, well, you know, he put some more on because he might have been able to see, but he wasn't really seeing. So I see that as, like, I think we do that. Like, we just see trees walking around. We don't see them the way Christ sees them, you know, that they are people and with souls who are hurting and they need help, and they're everywhere around us walking around. So when Kelly, I don't know if Kelly Britzman's in here, she wrote her card earlier this week that Tim read this morning, and she used that passage from Ecclesiastes that says that two are better than one, and that a triple braided cord is even stronger. So, like, I see that in this particular situation, that if, number one, if I had not been obedient, and it was like, you know how it says that sacrifice, that obedience is better than sacrifice? Sometimes obedience is a sacrifice. Sometimes it's not something that we want to do. So if I had not been obedient to that call, there are so many things that have happened as a result of that I would not have seen. I would not see God working in so many ways. And I can't even tell you how many things have happened as a result of having made that connection with this young lady and everything that's happened afterwards. And even like bringing Kelly into my life, and like one of the things that God has shown me in this, it's been like a kind of a read lesson. It's things that I've known, but I've gotten lazy in my spiritual walk. I've gotten comfortable, and I've kind of had to relearn some of these things. And it's in these reaching out to others that it's like my own spiritual life has